we are going to talk about how do you crack the next interview. And I want to be a little more clearer if it was not clear. How do you crack your next job interview? It's not about any other interviews, but about job. So I want to be clear about that. And as I said, this is the 24th Gravitas win show that we are having. I'm very excited to have all of you, and thank you so many people. Thank you for Kurana, Sarang, Krishna. All of these people have come from probably like the first ones. KK and all have come from the beginning. Sarang, all of you have supported me from the beginning, and I'm really thankful for persistently supporting me so that I can be on the 24th show. And who knows, maybe we will hit 100 shows soon. So thank you everybody for that. So today we are going to talk about how do you crack your job interview. But before that, I want to ask you, what are the interview mistakes that you have committed or you have seen people commit? So say for example, Takshay, or other people who are taking interviews, say for example, Mr. Kurana, Sukhvinder, who are taking interviews, Sarang, KK, the people who are taking interviews, what are the types of mistakes you have seen people do? Anyone?
Yeah, Joseph.
Yeah, Takshay, please.
So I can highlight 2 to 3 mistakes. First, if it would be a technical round, so people don't make correct formatting resume first. There are very much you can say grammatical errors first, second point, and third point, they show more what they know. So it's best to be yourself, whether it would be on a resume or whether you are giving an in-person interview or a video interview.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a very good advice. So people like Takshay, who are the first level before it goes to the everybody else. Takshay is, thank you, Takshay. I really appreciate you coming and joining, because you are also from that talent recruitment and everything. So it adds a lot of value. People like Takshay are the first round, and they are going to get 200, 300 resume CVs every single day. So that first impression over that particular, whatever paper that you are sending, we call it a CV, resume, whatever that we call it as, that really matters. So please go through it and ensure that it is properly formatted. And I see many a times, I will have a CV and I look at it and I will be calling them and I will say, okay, this is the latest job that you are doing. Can we talk about it? And they will say, no, that is not updated. I'm working here. I'm doing something else. If that shift has happened in the last 1 or 2 days, it's okay. But generally it would have happened, 6 months earlier. Then if somebody has not taken time to update their CV, I am not interested in talking to them. So ensure that your CV is updated. That's a good one. Takshay, thank you. Any other mistakes that you have committed or you've seen somebody else?
Yes, please. I have seen many CVs wherein I have asked for a salesperson and he gives me details that he's been a kabaddi player.
Very true. Kurana ji, I have seen this also in software industry as well. Yes, thank you for that. You are right. We need to know the fitment for that particular profile. So good. So we have seen some of the mistakes that we do, and I want to go into how do you crack this interview. And as I mentioned in the LinkedIn, I don't know how many of you saw that. See, you don't think about health the day you fall sick. You don't think about wealth the day you are in need of money. You can't go to the bank and withdraw money if you have not already deposited there, right? Similarly, you can't think about interview on the day that you have to have an interview. You have to think about it much earlier. If you prepare really well, rest everything is very easy. What you do during the interview and after the interview becomes a lot more easier, okay? So I'm going to spend quite a lot of time on the preparation side of it, pre-interview time. And then I will also talk about what you do during the interview and after the interview. If you have any questions, please put it on chat, or I will pass in between a couple of slides and then you can ask questions. Now, before the interview, let's talk about before interview. The first thing is, do you know what an ideal job is for you? For you, not for me, not for somebody else. And also, what is the ideal job for you now, today? Because say for example, Joseph was saying he has about 5 years experience. When I had a 5-year experience, my choices, what I wanted out of the job was very different when I became 15-year experienced, when I became 20-year experienced. So your job, your life will change and your job expectations will change. So you need to sit and prepare what is an ideal job for you. Now let me ask you, what's an ideal job for you? Anyone? What's a good job for you, ideal job for you, which you will enjoy? Because many a times what we think, ideal job is, what I want from job is money. I want a job that pays me the most, right? And then you get into the job and then you realize, oh my God, I can't stand my manager. I can't stand my team. This is just a typing job, a glorified typing job. But we don't think about it. So tell me, maybe Ashwini, Pradeep, Nitin, what is an ideal job for you? What do you consider? Again, it's an ideal, so it doesn't have to be that you are having it today. What's an ideal job for you? Anyone? KK?
Okay, can go. Yeah.
Yes, please.
So Joseph, for me, I am at like 13-15 years of experience at this point. So probably the job that I will look forward to is something that leads the marketing function at this point of time for a mid-sized company, marketing team, the entire gamut of offerings within the marketing function. And personally, I would like to carve myself into a little bit more of writing, content writing, those sort of area that I will especially focus on. But I would like to lead the marketing team. But apart from that, money and other things also.
Okay. Danish ji, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. Hi. Thanks a lot, Joseph. 24th, going on 240, 250. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I think what probably at the age I am, or with the kind of experience that I have, I would be looking at something which is throws challenges every day at me, keeps me engaged. Otherwise, then you become part of the furniture. Otherwise, you become part of the furniture, and before anybody else says it, then you say, okay, fine, let me write myself off.
Very true. Very true. part of a furniture. Yes.
Yes.
You don't want to become part of office furniture. You are right. Thank you. I'm gonna use that.
Please.
Yeah, Ashwini. Yeah, Ashwini. Go ahead, Ashwini.
Can I add something?
1 second, Mr. Kurana. Ashwini, do you want to add anything? She raised her hand, so I'm gonna give her, and then I'll come back to you, Kurana ji. Yeah, Ashwini.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Ashwini, I can.
Yeah. Okay. For me, the job should excite me. The day, and it should entitle learning. Should keep me excited. Money. I mean, I've been in GE for quite some time, but money is not the important thing. Like as long as I can get my hands dirty, having communication with people, which I want, which are my job needs, I'd be okay.
Wonderful. That's good. Yeah, Kurana ji. Yes, go ahead.
Actually, I would say when I was in job, I always tried to learn the things which were beyond my domain. That made me grow better. That made me grow faster as compared to all other colleagues which were there with me.
Absolutely.
When I joined Indian Express as a circulation inspector, and then I joined Hindustan Times as a field organizer because it was a marketing job. Then I joined Dainik Jagran as a business reporter. So you can see the progress. I had varied roles because I tried to learn different things, and I was
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, thanks, Corona. Joyce, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Joyce?
what I wanted to, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. So two things I'll definitely look for. So most of them covered it, which is challenge. So in that aspect, like I don't want the same job as what I'm doing today. Obviously, I need a change. In change in the set, a progressive change. That's something that I definitely will look for. And I'm always a person who always do something other than my day-to-day job. Like in any side projects or patenting or any such things that I do. So I will look for
Wonderful.
something which will keep me busy with my day-to-day job, along with something else where I can explore based on my passion. So that's what I look for.
Yes. Okay. So some of the good things have come through.
So, Joseph,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more
please go
point I
ahead.
just wanted to make, if I may.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you, Joseph. So, while people have rightly said, and I think to a certain extent, money doesn't play that much a role compared to if you don't have challenges at job, if you are not getting good accountability, or you get opportunity to learn and grow. However, I just want to add one more factor. It's also important that what is the outcome of your work, what is the impact to the business which you are making.
Wonderful.
If your work is not bringing enough business impact, or you're not able to relate to the mission of the organization, and you don't relate to that where you are spending larger part of the day, is it really creating value to this world? Then possibly you won't carry forward much long. You may possibly learn new tools, technologies, but ultimately then you will start to realize that, okay, where I'm going is the value which organization is creating. Am I drawing energy and happiness out of it or not? That is very
Wonderful.
important.
Very valid, Nitin. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Very valid. Now, so what I would say, and this I do it. Like, I mean, you can go to my blog, and you can search for jeju.com/ideal job. You will find that for me, these are the factors that contribute for ideal job. Again, will I have this in every job? No. But when you have this, then you can prioritize. Then you can say, I am going to look for most of these things in a job. So before you look for an interview, before you look for a next job, sit down and write what is your ideal job. What will make you happy in a job? What are the factors that will make you happy in a job? Because most often I have seen people jump when there is 10% increase, 20% increase. And they will go and they will, after 3-4 months, they will say, oh, this sucks. And people will jump again. And every 6 months they will be jumping. And after a while, nobody wants to take them because they have been job hoppers all the time, right? So before your next job interview, sit down and write what are the factors that will help you enjoy that particular job. Now, one of the factor is not here, which is what Nitin brought out, is that how the job, there has to be a clear communication, clarity about how my job is impacting the company that I'm working, the outcome of that particular company, and the outcome of the company should have a positive impact in the world. Again, like, I mean, not all of you might have that, but if you have it, you need to think about it so that you know what kind of a jobs that you can take, what kind of a jobs you can say no. We make that particular mistake. Any job that comes to our hand, we take it and then we struggle and then we don't really enjoy that. And so which leads me to the next point. But before that, understand what are the factors that will make your job really a good job for you. Again, as I said, when I started my job, so say for example, I have about 5 years of experience. At that time, I probably optimized for going abroad. I wanted on-site opportunities. So probably I optimized for it. But after about like 6-7 years of staying abroad, maybe I said, you know what, now I need flexible hours. I'm a little old, I'm getting married, I have my family, I need flexible hours. And then probably I said, you know what, I need to learn new things. So there has to be a challenge, stimulating work. As Mr. Danish said, otherwise I would become an office furniture. So even now I ask, I'm relatively, well experienced. Now I ask myself, what is that I need? And I go through this particular thing all the time, whether my job provides this, or if it is not, then what should I do? Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is what is an ideal job for you at the stage wherever you are in. And believe me, as you go through your stage, it will change. Okay, so the first thing is ideal job, and what is the desired life that you want? For most of us, our life is something on the right side. Job, and then somewhere we are enjoying life. We'll take a break. Thank God it is Friday. We'll go to some bar and we will drink through the night. And I had a few friends like that. Friday night, they'll go to a bar until Saturday morning. They will drink, come back, sleep. Again, Saturday evening, they will go drink. They'll come back on Sunday morning. That is, again, I'm not passing any judgment. Is that the life that you want? If that's the life you want, that's fine. But for many of us, the life is the desired life that we want is on the left side. We want to enjoy life. Career is a means to that life. Career is not everything in our life. We want to work, but we want to also have a limit so that we can have our life. Whether you are young, whether you are married, whether you have kids, that doesn't matter. What is the kind of desired life that you want? You need to be clear about that. Only then you will be able to get what you want. Because again, one thing, I don't know how many of you have read this particular book. I forget the name of the book and the author, Alchemist. He says, if you wish for something, the world will conspire to give this to you. And Ashwini also mentioned this particular quote and the book one time. And that's how I remembered suddenly also, is that you need to first lay out what you want, what you desire in your life and in your career and in your job. Then you will start to see those opportunities. So first of all, you need to see what your ideal job is and what do you want as a desired life. Do you want your job to take up all your time? Especially now with all things becoming remote. At least earlier, we would start at 10 o'clock, we will end up at 7, 8, 9, and then we will close, and then that's it, it's over. But now it is like we start at 6 o'clock and we go until 9 in the night, and the work doesn't seem to end at all. Is that the life that you want? So you need to ask yourself, what is the kind of a desired life that you want, and write them down. How do you want it? Do you want weekends tied to a laptop, or do you want to go hiking? Do you want to drive through beach? Do you want to spend in the beach? Jasper, he said he's in Coimbatore. Maybe he wants to go to Sirvani and enjoy the mountains there over the weekend. What is that you want as a desired life? Again, you need to write them down. So those two things are important. First is, what is the ideal job that you want and what are the desired life? Then you need to start networking. Let me tell you this. The best job and the best opportunities in life do not come advertised. They are not on the job portal. The best of the best jobs are not on the job portal. They all come because of referrals. Okay? So you need to start networking. I have changed my jobs at least for about 7-8 times. In all of these, except one, all of them came because of a referral. Somebody would say, Joseph is the best choice for this particular role. And that's how I got. Whether it was I worked as a consultant for cardiac surgeon. He operated on the last time, Vice President of India. I used to work with him. I worked as a consultant to Government of India. Now I'm a CTO. And in between, I was also a startup founder. All of these opportunities came in via referrals. I did not see that on a job portal. It wasn't I saw and I applied. In fact, there was one phase where it was all apply, apply, and no reply. But all of these came via referrals. So you need to understand networking is absolutely important. And now it is all a lot more easier with LinkedIn and so on and other tools. Start networking. Networking is of two types. One is diverse and another is dense. When in the initial period of my life, for first 10 years or so, my network consisted entirely of homogeneous people like me, male, software industry, and so on and so forth. So we will sit down together and we will ask who is sending anybody abroad, who is giving more pay. And that's all we were discussing. But now my network consists of IAS officers, movie directors, entrepreneurs like Danish and Kurana and Sukhu in there. Then when we are discussing a lot of ideas. So you need diverse, which is diverse, different, it is not homogeneous, but also people who trust you. Because only people who trust you will refer you for a job. Not some random people will not refer you. So you need to build that trust with those people. They should be able to say, Joyce is the right choice for this particular opportunity. Go hire her. Or Nitin is the right job for this particular thing to open up something new. You should go and hire him. So that trust has to be there. You should build that particular trust. And when you have that, as Dharmesh Shah said, your probability of success depends on the number of people who wants you to succeed. Which means the more number of people who trust you, who wants you to succeed, your success chance increases dramatically. And that's how all my opportunities that I have, all of these are all networking. And you might ask, how do I do networking? You are an event like that. You can all come in on the LinkedIn group. You can network with all of these people. And again, you need to build trust. So networking, because as I said, the best jobs and the best opportunities do not come advertised. They are not on a portal. They all come because of referrals, because somebody knows somebody. Now, Danish might say, hey, Joseph, there is an opportunity here. Do you want this? Because he knows me, he might put a word to that particular person and say, hey, you know what? Joseph is the right choice to do this. And it is not even in the portal. And probably I go there because it is on a referral. And that is how it has all happened. Because it is a referral, you always has an upper hand when you are talking to the whoever is in charge to recruit you. Okay? So the third important point is networking. Your network determines your net worth. And especially I want to tell this to people in software industry who are at probably like 5-6 years experience candidates. Do not ignore networking. I thought networking is not for me, but once I realized the power of networking, and as I said, all the opportunities in my life came via networking, then it becomes a lot more meaningful for me. Okay? So networking is the third one. Let me stop here and ask, do you have any questions? Any questions so far? Ideal life, desired life, networking. Any questions so far? Okay. Good, Vinay, thank you. So let me keep going. The next one is, now Joy said, I've been in my job for 17 years. What I do, yes, I'm in a job and I'm not looking for a new job, but I keep looking what the market demands. If at all I want to switch, I already look through it and say, okay, these are the skills that they need. Do I have that skills? Will I apply for that particular job and will they be able to take me? And I go through that often enough. And I say, okay, these are the skills that I need to start developing. Because again, today I may not look for a job, but tomorrow I cannot just suddenly look at, oh, I need a job today and then start applying. It's not going to happen. Maybe I am out of touch with the market, especially people who have been with the company for a long time. I normally in a company, usually in a job for at least about 6-7 years. So which means by the time I join and by the time I am saying, okay, I need to look for a job, there's a huge gap in the market and the skills that the market is expecting and what I have. So what I do to avoid that, what I do every often, say for example, maybe every 6 months, every year, I go look at these, what the jobs that I want to have and what are the skills that they are expecting. Do I have that skills? And if not, what should I do? So to give you an example, this particular job is saying as a CTO, you need to know Kubernetes, Kafka, NoSQL and SQL DB and load balancer and everything. I will ask, do I know Kubernetes? No, I don't know Kubernetes. Okay, I will go for a course or I will start working on something and so on and so forth, right? So again, this is not when I am looking for a job. This is prior to looking for a job. I always like to be prepared. Today, if I were to be laid off, today I were to be let go, do I have the skills to get a job? Then when I am prepared like that, so then what happens is anytime I'm looking for a job, it is easier for me because I don't have to go and look for the skills that I have to develop. I'm already prepared, right? So again, develop the skills that you want to have. Okay. Danishji, you want to say something?
Am I mute? Am I unmute?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's okay.
I'm with you. Definitely, skills are the most important thing. Just one more thing. I think what happens is that many of us, and I'm using the word many of us, have this belief that the world revolves around us, and therefore,
Yes.
everything just goes for a toss. I mean, 12 hours, 14 hours would become the norm of the things. And at the end of the day, you have not achieved anything. Your family life is completely gone for a toss. Even work-wise, you could be doing. So you are making so much of those sacrifices for nothing. So once again, I think I will come back to what you had said. We need to prioritize ourselves. Yes, we need to have our skills updated. Otherwise, then we become modern dinosaurs.
Yes, absolutely, Danishji. Which I also realized is be loyal to your career, not to the company. And I'm always loyal to my career. And I saw this in a much more sad way. I used to, again, as I said, I was working in a government, I was a consultant to Government of India. And there was one person who was in a particular department for probably 15 years or so. And he let go of certain opportunities and promotions because he liked his job. He was very loyal and everything. One fine day, he just passed away. And the department went as if nothing happened. It continued to grow. It's the same thing with any company. They're not going to miss you, right? So be loyal to your career. Nobody is going to be loyal to your career than you. So be loyal to your career and see what you need to build. 1, 2, always see what's the desired life that you want to have. And everything will have to be built around that and not around, oh, this is a job, now I am whatever, as Danish said, it shouldn't revolve around the job that you have. It should revolve around the life that you want to have. So yes, thanks, Danish. And now, say for example, you have done all of these things. You have written what's the ideal job that you want to have, what's the desired life that you want to have. You have written that, and you have built a good network. Now you have a job. There's a job interview that's coming in. And even though you are referred, you still will have to go through this job interview. The question is, now do you know about the company? Are you prepared? Do you know about the company? When was it established? What's the strength? What are they doing now? Have you gone through their website now? And what are they working on? And what are the job requirements? Many a times I'll be sitting on a job interview. As Mr. Kurana said, the job is for something. The guy comes up with a very different skill set. And this happens all the time. Do you know about what the job requirement is? What are the skills that are needed? And so on and so forth. Are you prepared for it? And do you know who is going to interview you? there are some people, Yuvraj is here, when I interviewed him, he had already gone through my LinkedIn profile. And like that, I like people who are come prepared, saying, and there are a few people like that. I could see that they have checked out my LinkedIn profile, and they will come prepared with saying, this is what you are doing, and they will put in certain kind of words, certain kind of anecdotes they will share, which is relevant to whatever that I'm talking about. And obviously, we all want to work with people who like us, people whom we like. Then we are going to like the person, right? So have you gone through and found out, like say for example, there is a HR, have you asked the HR who is going to interview me? And have you searched about them? Have you found out who they are, what they do, and so on and so forth? Okay. So are you prepared? That is very, very important. Do you know the company? Do you know the job requirement? And do you know who you are going to, who is going to interview you? This is important during the interview. I'll come to that particular point, but you need to prepare all of these things. Let me again pass here and ask, do you have any questions so far? Any questions so far?
May I please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Suppose you are applying for a job, and as you said, there is a certain skill set which you didn't have earlier, but you acquired that skill set during your job, learning from other sources also. But since your job at present is different and you are not using that skill set despite the fact that you have learned that skill set, if the potential employer asks you, what have you done with this tool, how will you answer that question?
Okay, that's a very good question, and that happens most often. One, at least this is what I look for, and I would ask anybody else, Takshay, anybody else to add up also. Nitin, people like Nitin, KK, they all take interviews as well, so you can also add up to that. Generally, what I look for is what is the attitude of the person, whether he will fit into the team that we are working in. That's the primary importance. So this guy or a girl might be the best candidate about that particular skill, but if they are not going to fit into the environment, when I say fit into the environment, I'm not really looking at very submissive. I'm saying, okay, they can take this particular team to a next level, but will they take it in a way that everybody is going on with them, or are they going to be, isolated souls? So first thing is that. Second, most of, at least in our field, software industry and anything to do with the knowledge industry, all of the skills are learnable. So what I look for is this person having the attitude of a learnable person? And then I will ask, okay, how do they learn? Can they demonstrate to me how they learned some of the skills earlier? And the skills that they say they have, I will ask questions to evaluate, do they really know? Meaning, are they kind of bullshitting me that they know this particular skill? So I will always start with their current work, and I will ask, what do you do? How do you do it? What are the skills needed? And so on and so forth. If they are able to explain their current job and their current skill set really well, I would take them. Most of our requirements, as I don't know whether it was Ashwini or Joyce who said, I want a challenging job because I don't want to do the same thing all over again, right? So if there is a absolute fitment, they know exactly what I want and I have exactly what they are asking, they are trained for, then probably the guy or girl will leave in another 3 months because they are going to get bored. So I will look for whether they are ready to learn and they can demonstrate that they have learned something in the past few years. So that's how I will look at it. Takshay, you want to add anything there?
Yeah, Joseph. So first, what I think is, as per the JD, you never get 100% perfect candidate, right?
Yes.
So it would be a mixed match. So first thing I look up to the candidate is the learning attitude. What, howsoever it is, no matter from where he learns or she learns, whether YouTube or some other source, but that candidate should have a learning attitude. Rest skills can be trained off, but the learning attitude and the character cannot be built in a time. I mean, it will be built over a time frame. So I cannot compromise over an attitude, but yes, skill can be learned.
Thank you. Thanks, Takshay. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Yeah, Krishna, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I will tell what I recently underwent. We made a recent hire actually, and a lot of things I resonate with what Joseph told. Right, like the guy came through a referral, and the guy who referred him has been really phenomenal. So he didn't come with like a exact match or certain skill sets, but he was able to learn, and he was able to demonstrate, and his attitude was top notch. Like just because of the attitude, this guy also we had a very positive impression. Like you have this bias, right? Like generally, they all come from the same company and the same team. So I also found that the new hire also to be very good at attitude, and he was very timely and professional, etc. And as much as he was not having that like 30-40% of the requirements, we still went ahead and gave him an offer in spite of having someone who we interviewed and was very close to the skills that we wanted. So we actually prioritized attitude and the character and other aspects, like so that went that is something preceded over the actual skills.
Wonderful. So thanks Krishna for sharing it. So primarily, again, as Krishna has kind of validated the point that I'm talking about, one came via referral, had great attitude, and had showed a positive energy in this particular session. And I'm going to talk about it, what you have to do during the interview. Fair enough. Thanks, Krishna. I really appreciate sharing that particular experience. Okay, so now you have prepared. You're coming to that session, that interview, prepared. What should you do during the interview? Now, I'm not talking about the functional fitment here. So say, for example, coding, or it could be sales, it could be marketing. So I'm not talking about functional fitment, but during the interview, be present. What I mean as be present, I will have interviews and people will be disturbed by phone calls or some SMSs, phones will keep coming in, and that disturbs the entire staff. Respect other person's time and be present, be there, understand what the question is asked, give relevant answers. Again, I had one person who came highly recommended by an existing employee of the company, and I took the interview. He wasn't present. He was highly absent, in the sense that I would ask one question, he will answer a different answer. And when I asked, he said, Joseph, there is something else going on. I don't know what it was. Hopefully, it was not bad. He didn't tell me, I didn't press, but he wasn't present at all. He could have postponed that interview. I don't know what he could have done, but he was there, but he was not there, right? I ask a question, he will answer very differently. And I was like, can this person even understand what I'm asking for? So first thing is, be present. Don't switch on your mobile, and don't be disturbed by any of those kinds of stuff. That's one. Two, ask questions. Again, what Krishna said in that interview. See, I cannot assess you from about everything that you are. I will be able to assess you only in that 1 hour, or sometimes there could be multiple rounds. Maybe all that I can have is about 3-4 rounds. So even if it is all 1 hour sessions, we are talking about 4-5 hours of interaction with you. Now, yes, it is highly possible. Say, for example, in about 30-40 minutes, we should be able to assess some of the things about the person. But generally, also it is also possible to happen that we may not be able to assess everything about you. The other one is, why I'm asking you to ask questions is, as much as the other person is evaluating you, whether you are right fit for the job, You should evaluate whether the job is right fit for you, whether the company is right fit for you. Ask questions. What do you expect me to achieve in the first 90 days? What is the learning path that you have? What is the career path that you have for me? Ask questions. Don't be a mute participant only answering the questions that have been asked on you. Be active. Ask questions. This, you will be able to ask questions if you come prepared. Then you can come in and say, okay, say for example, you say, okay, flexible hours are important for me. You can ask that question. If you say, I don't want to work on weekends, you can ask that question. Is this a job that requires 24/7 support? Will I be ever put on particular job? Without you asking, they might assume and they might say, okay, it involves a night shift after you join, and there is a resentment between the two. Ask as much questions as possible. As I said, I always say this to everybody whom I interview. As much as I assess you for fitment for the job, I want you to assess us whether we are a fit for you. So please do that. Ask questions, and yes, you might have assessed it to a certain extent, but also ask that question to the person who is interviewing you, whether it is HR, whether it is functional person who is taking your interview, any of those kinds of stuff. Ask those questions. You will be able to ask those questions only if you come prepared. As I said, you should be able to go and say, do you know about the company? Do you know who is going to interview? If you come prepared like this, then you will be able to go and say, okay, these are the questions that I want to be answered. This is how I will know whether this job is a right fitment for me, right? So that's one. Always end in a positive note. Like, everybody, Takshay as well as KK shared their examples. Always end in a positive note. In whatever form that it could be. Many a times, sometimes what can happen is, because it's an interview and it could be at a senior position, they want to assess you, and it has happened with me also. They would want to assess you for how you will handle conflicts, how you will handle opposing views. You might be hired for a project manager. Then I want to know how you will handle team conflicts. So I might create a conflict just to assess how you will do it. Now, sometimes what people will do is they will take that very personally. They will take it and they will kind of, say certain things without realizing this is all part of job interview. Again, you can identify it if you have assessed about the person. If you have learned about the person, you can assess that whether it is part of the job interview or whether it is the bad character of that particular person who is interviewing you, right? So always end in a positive note. Okay. Then after the interview, so this is over the interview. Yes, KK, go ahead, please.
So Joseph, couple of things. So one is, what are the type of questions that one should not ask? Is there anything like that?
Yeah. So a couple of things, right? Again, it depends on what's the size of the company. So say, for example, companies like IBM's and Infosys and TCS, you don't have to worry whether the company will be there tomorrow. But let's say, for example, you are talking to a mid-sized company or a smaller size company, which is what most of the Tri-City companies are. You need to assess how long they have been in business, how long they will be in business, and what's the kind of a career growth that they are going to give you. Okay, it is absolutely okay that you are working for a small company, but what will they optimize? Will they optimize your career growth? Do they have a established career path? Okay, I am joining as, let's say, for example, a developer. What are all the jobs that I can do? What is the career path? Do you have an established one? What is your, so say, for example, you say, I want to learn. Then what is the learning path? Do you have a separate department? Who are the people who teach us? Do you subscribe to some of the learning platforms? Can I take some certifications? Will you pay for those certifications? Or will I have to bear the cost? Will you bear the tuition fees? Will I have to bear the tuition fees? Say, for example, your interest is like what Mr. Kurana said. I want to be able to do multiple jobs, the jobs that I don't know. So say, for example, I come in as a developer, but can I take up a role as a content marketer after, say, for example, 4 years? Can I participate in pre-sales even as a developer? Those are the questions you can ask. Again, all of them come from your ideal job profile that you have built. If you say, I want in another 15 years, 20 years, I want to establish a company, I want to be a CEO. So then I need to know what is sales, what is marketing, what is delivery. So then every 2 years, can I rotate my job? Some companies allow, some companies do not. So those are the questions that you can ask. Hopefully I answered you, Krishna.
Sorry, there was slight misunderstanding, I guess. I asked, like, what is the question that you cannot ask?
Oh, sorry, you cannot ask. That's an interesting question. Probably this is a question you cannot ask in this session.
Sorry if I have crossed the Lakshman Rekha.
No. I don't know. I can't think of what questions you cannot ask. Probably again, one thing is, it is not about you cannot ask, but who is the right person to ask? Say, for example, people like Takshay, HR, are the people to ask about the salary and the increment policy, leave policy and everything. You may not be able to ask that to a fitment person functional person who is assessing you for the functional fitment. So that particular thing quite often I see. So that is one thing that probably, you cannot ask, but I can't think of other things that you cannot ask. Yes, Danish.
See, the questions that normally should not be asked is, I mean, if you are interviewing me, sir, how much salary are you getting?
True.
But yes, you can definitely ask all other kind of questions. Okay, how do I see myself in the next 90 days if I get selected? Or, what has taken you there or whatever? Because I have seen it. There are some people who have come and asked me this question. It's a senior position that they're coming for. But then people have this habit of getting into things, which I might myself ignore it completely, because I see that, okay, fine, a man is already under pressure, and you're just walking into a person's office, or they will start asking you, how did you do your education there? What do you do there? Let's say I'm a visiting faculty at Cambridge. So they'll start asking, sir, how's life in Cambridge? I mean, now, come on, that's not related to the job interview that you're giving right now. So yeah, there are no hard and fast rule. What are the questions that you should be asking? But yes, there are certain no's. All the personal questions should be avoided as much as you can.
Yeah. So probably, Danish, you said it really well. You summed it up really well. Probably you should not get into the personal questions. And yeah, that's a very good way of summarizing it. That's a good point, Danish. Okay.
Joseph, just one more.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
So, Joseph, like in the current scenario, right? Like few people, maybe in some sort of a pressure, they want to get out of the current company, and whatever comes to their, they are able to get opportunities, right? They get into that, right? So, do you think that all these will be applicable for them? I know if you plan it well, this is the best way to do. But there are situations where you are not in the best position and you need to just get on and get a new job. A lot of people
agree.
That situation.
Yeah, agree, Krishna. You are right in that sense that sometimes this happens. And I was in one company. I should have been put on a particular project. That is what was promised to me. 6 months, it didn't happen. So I had to quit. Just prior to that 6-month period, I had to quit. So this happens. So as I said, this can happen. But if there is a clarity for you, then probably there is a higher possibility. Again, it's all chance, right? So I use the word chance. There's a higher probability that you are able to land upon a job in a longer period. That's why I said, look at it as a career, not as a job. Be loyal to your career, not just the job that you are doing at that particular point in time. So yes, there's a high possibility. Say, for example, you might have certain kind of a pressure, money pressure, any other pressure also you may have to take up a job which you really don't enjoy. But if there is a clarity, and if you're doing your networking properly, you will always end up in a job that you really love. And as I said, in about 25 years of experience, there are times, probably like 6 months or so, I've been in a very, very stressful situations. But generally speaking, if I take about those 22 years of experience, mostly I have enjoyed what have come across to me, probably because of the clarity that you are able to build and the network that you have. Okay, thanks Krishna for that. Okay, now it is not over just by that particular interview that you had, because as I said, you need to think of your career not as a job, which means the person who interviewed you, who knows, maybe he will go to another job and he will interview you there, and all of these things have happened for me. So send a thank you note to whoever that person is, connect with them on LinkedIn, send them an email. Again, if you know who it was, if you're researched, you will have all of those details. So send them a thank you note. Okay, these are the questions that I liked, and can you give me some feedback? If I'm not selected, can you tell me where I can improve? And so on and so forth. There are always people who really impress me, and sometimes I can't hire them because of certain other expectations, but those are the people whom I want to work with, and sometimes I will fight to keep them, hire them, because they really impressed me with all of these things, their attitude and positive energy and post-interview actions. Then I will say, okay, fine, I want to have this particular person, even if I have to pay little more than others, that I will go and fight and try to have them, right? So always keep doing that. Be positive. Lastly, document what went right in your own opinion. Even if you don't get a feedback from the person who interviewed you, always document. And the people who attend my course, as most of you might know, I run a course called Gravitas Wins course, which I will talk about for a couple of minutes after this. One thing that I insist often enough is about documenting your decisions, documenting the events that happened to you, the good and bad. So this is what I decided to go. This is why I'm going for this particular interview. And these are my expectations. You come back after the interview and you record how the interview went. How did you perform? Did you say the ones that you wanted to say? Did you answer the questions properly in your own opinion? And if there is a feedback, record that as well. And over a period, you will be able to perform in interviews a lot better. So documenting is absolutely important if you want to improve. This is not only true for interviews. I would encourage this habit for any decision that you are taking. Over a long period of time, your decision making will become a lot more better if you document why you are deciding something and how the decision went. If you do that, you will improve upon your decision making a lot better. Okay. So to summarize, this is the only slide probably you might need. First, know your ideal job. Know the desired life that you want to have. Network, because it is going to be, as I said, the best opportunities and the best jobs do not come advertised. They are not in a portal. They all come because of referrals. The next one, fourth one, prepare as much as possible about the company, about the job, about the person who is going to interview you, and for the functional fitment, all of those things. Prepare as much as possible. Go through your CVs and be ready to talk about at least 3 jobs, the last 3 jobs. You should know all of the details. What was your team size? What was the budget? What did you do? What did you accomplish? You should be able to answer them as quickly as possible. Prepare as much as possible. During the interview, be present. And after the interview, document and follow up. That's all. If you have these, you should be able to do really well. And as I said, I run a course called Gravitas Wins course. You can go to this particular portal, gravitaswins.com, and I teach how you can build a successful life as well as a career. Both have to go together. They are not separate, right? And I teach how do you build insights, wealth, network, and self-control. All of this, again, will have to go together. So you can remember this as wins, wealth, insights, network, and self-control. And many of the people, Kurana, KK, Ashwini, are all part of Joyce, all of Pradeep, all of them are part of this particular course. Some of them have already taken the course like Kurana and all, and go through this particular course. So this is 12 weeks, 1 hour every week. It's only 6,000 rupees, and you will come out knowing all of these kinds of stuff. You will build network, you will build flywheel, which will come very, very handy for you to improve upon your life. Nitin is here. Nitin has taken. People like Sajal, Kurana, all of these people have taken. Sajal is the youngest person to take, and probably Kurana is the oldest person to take. All of these people have found value in the course. Okay, so whichever group you are in, whichever demographic that you are in, whether you are a marketer, whether you are a YouTuber, all of this you can benefit. Okay, and you can connect with me in all of this form. I am almost everywhere. LinkedIn, Twitter, you name it. Facebook also I'm there, but I'm not active there. So everywhere. So you want to send an email, you send it to me. And as I shared, I will share this again with you. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. All of these are streamed to YouTube, so you can go and watch these things on the YouTube as well. Okay? Have a life of wins. That's all I have. If you have any questions, you can let me know. And as I said, this is the 24th session. I do this every week, Thursday, 7 to 8. 24th session I'm having. Next session is going to be 25th. I hope to see all of you there, and continue to come for rest of the sessions. If you continue to give me support, probably, who knows, maybe I will touch 100. Yes, Sukhwinder, good to see you.